I'm Chloe Page. I study football business and media at UCFB. I am now a conference and sales executive at Bolton Wanderers. I do the end-to-end logistics of all non-match day events. So we do a multitude of different events here, from more your day-to-day conferences and meetings and exhibitions to larger sporting and music events and parties. So we do all different things whilst building a relationship with our clients as well as departments within and outside of the workplace and out of a football stadium. But again, working logistically around being involved in a football stadium and match days and things like that. Throughout my 7-8 year career so far, I've worked at 3 of the founding Football League clubs in Notts County, Bolton Wanderers and Burnley. So I feel immense pride really to be involved in those clubs with such a historic past. It's great to see so many young women succeeding in sports and particularly football. I mean, I'm really proud to be part of a generation where that seems to be evolving and changing, and having so many role models within football and within the workplace as well is really great to see. So like I say, I've only had a 7-8 year career so far, but I can already see that changing, so it is a really important part for me. And like I say, I'm glad to be a part of a generation that does feel like that's moving forward. The best thing about working in football really is the buzz around the place, and specifically match days. Obviously that's what your working week looks towards, just being around like-minded people and people that all want to succeed, and you have the same interests at the end of the day. Everybody's a football fan, a sports fan, there's always a lot to talk about, so it's great to have a culture like that in the workplace, and then everybody working towards a match day and really getting that match day buzz. We are working as part of a team to build something bigger really, and I think when you walk out in a stadium on a full match day and you kind of look around, you really do feel like you've been a part of that and made that really happen. But now I'm not a part of match days here at Bolton Wanderers. It means that I can go and watch my own team play, so it's nice to go back and look at those games and really see it from a completely different perspective once you are kind of behind the scenes to go in as a fan again. So it's really exciting to see it from both aspects. There's so much importance and learning different things and building a portfolio of different skills at different places. So there's so many different skills that come from ticketing that I can now take into my new role. Obviously I studied media at uni alongside football business, which I've probably used a little bit more since I have left. But there's always different examples at different jobs where I can use those skill sets. So it's important for me that success isn't linear, in always learning different skills to take into each job. Although you might think, right, well, I'm not necessarily using my media skills in this job. Well, at the same time you are, because you've got to promote events. So there's so many different things from, like I say, my experiences, my career and my UCFB experience that really lead to what I'm doing today. My time was brilliant at UCFB. I had a really good 3 years studying there. A little bit of COVID in the mix just to spice it up a little bit, but it was a brilliant 3 years where I learnt a lot and had so many incredible experiences really. There's so many different things that I can pull on from not only my lectures but my experiences and the people that I've met along the way, so it was a really great experience. Not just putting pen to paper and the essays and the assignments that we had to write from what we've learnt in our lectures, it's also the skills that we learn and the experiences that I was able to have whilst there. And I'm sure I'll touch on the different things that I was able to do, but for example, using my media skills and going to the UEFA Euros draw in Manchester and being part of UEFA and the BBC to make sure that event happened, to going out to Miami and experiencing different things there. It's something that I've been able to not only put my degree on my CV that definitely gets you in the door and gets you seen, but also all of the experiences and skills that I've learned as well. I spent a week at Inter Miami during my 3 years at UCFB. So we went out for a week with a group of other students and spent it on campus at the stadium. So we were with industry professionals as well as employees that worked at Inter Miami, and spent a week there listening to different seminars and different guest speakers and networking, as well as experiencing really a club in a different continent and how football works out there. It's completely different to not only in this country but in Europe. We also went to different other sports, so baseball, ice hockey, and went to the match day events as well. So it was really great to see not only the behind the scenes but the match day experience as well. One of the biggest things that I think I pulled from that trip was we presented to a board of directors at Inter Miami, and we all had a bit of a topic to kind of discuss, and mine was in the hospitality and events area, which works well for me now with doing what I do now. I really had a good experience, and it was one of my first times presenting, especially to a group of people and a group of important people as well, and I received some really good feedback, so that is something that I've always taken away from that trip as something as memorable, and I've taken confidence in when going into things like interviews and speaking in front of people, that I do have confidence to go into that. The thing that makes UCFB stand out from other universities is really the specialised courses that they're able to offer. When I came out of sixth form, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to a few different uni fairs, but I was, to be honest, quite adamant that I wasn't going to uni, but I wasn't sure what that looked like for me. And then I found UCFB, and I really thought of the importance of that is something that I really want to do. So alongside the specialised courses, it really is the experiences and skills that you are able to learn there. So as much as I've got a really good degree on my CV, and again, I got a really good grade in my degree, that is something that employers obviously look for on your CV, and I believe gets you in the door and gets you an interview, but it really is those additional experiences and skills that I have been able to pull that get you a job at the end of the day. So I think it's a multitude of different things, and the campuses, and like I say, where you are able to study, and being in a hub in Manchester is really central for the whole country, as obviously there's one down in London as well. So it really is those two standout places in the country where you can network and meet so many different people and really be at the hub of this country. So my best piece of advice is obviously to work hard. It's always to say yes to any opportunities that you're given. You will receive so many new opportunities in things that you're not even sure about, in different fields that maybe you weren't even considering to begin with, but it's really important to let yourself go and say yes to all of these opportunities. You don't necessarily need to know what field or department you necessarily want to be in. For me, it's important to know that your success and your career progression isn't linear. Like I say, I've moved from ticketing into conference and events, and I'm sure there'll be different things that I go into, or maybe even go back to. Again, I did media at uni, and it's something that I still use now, but maybe I'll go into that field a bit more. So I think the most important thing for me, especially whilst I was at university, was not really knowing where I wanted to be or where I wanted to go, and I, to be honest, still don't now, but I think it's important to keep saying yes to opportunities, and the biggest thing for me is having strings to your bows and being able to present a CV with a different portfolio of different things that you've been able to do at different clubs at different times in your life. As well, I think that a massive part of advice is networking and speaking to people and creating strong relationships, because you never know when you're going to need those people, or you can reach out to them and you never know when things are going to come back around. So it's always leaving a good stand wherever you've been and moving forward, and knowing you have those people that believe in you, and again, you can use in the future.